Hi Dad. We've put together hopefully a short video presentation from all of us as a tribute to all the hard work, sacrifice, fun, teachable moments that you've given us all. This is a great day. Happy 80th birthday. I hope to be doing this again on your 90th birthday. I'm going to begin with, my not earliest memories, but strong memories of the sacrifice and work you did for us. Each and every one of us know you were up at 6, sometimes earlier, getting on the bus to New York. The sun may not be up, and getting home late, but always, or almost always, so that we could enjoy dinner together. It was very family oriented, but during that time I really remember that we'd go down the shore for the annual vacation with all the families together, and we'd have 2 weeks down there, and it was wonderful. It was great. Those pictures on the beach of all of us. But you only had 1 week's vacation, so you would only be there for 1 week, so that while we were enjoying ourselves, you were working to help pay for it, to put food on the table. And I don't know if I ever said it, but it never went unnoticed. So thank you. And then a couple of, or at least a really fond memory of how growing up, the fun that we enjoyed together. I think it was 4th grade, could have been 2nd grade, but you took me to my first hockey game. And you and Mom let me take the bus into New York City, and you met me at Port Authority. And before the game, we went to that little Italian restaurant with the bocce ball court in it. And then, of course, went and watched the Rangers. They lost, but that's not unusual. But it was so much fun, and it's something that I've never forgotten. Just time alone and time shared. One of my other memories, one of the strong memory. You were always trying to teach, and one of the things that happened is we were rototilling the back garden, and I just remember we used to grow rocks out of that garden, but we probably were rototilling a good 5 or 6 hours, and when we were done, we were dirty and muddy, but you needed to buy a pair of shoes. So we didn't have time to get to Willowbrook and shower and change, so kind of like shook the mud off, and off we went. We went to Wallach's, which, as you remember, was the most upscale store in Willowbrook. And we went in, and you were wearing your I'd rather fight than switch tartan sweatshirt, and I must have been wearing boots and jeans, and you were trying on some Bally's from Switzerland, and this is in the 70s, so these shoes were probably a little over $100 in 1970s dollars. Well, you walked around, you tried them on, and you told them you liked them, and the salesman was happy he was getting a sale, and then you said, "Oh, these will be perfect for work," and the salesman stood up in horror and said, "Oh no sir, you can't wear these to work." And of course then you chuckled because you realized that he judged you as not working in an office, and you explained to him very nicely that no, you work in an office in New York. And then we had that conversation about not judging a book by its cover, not judging people by how they look or appear, and how the salesperson who could have lost the sale. And in my 27 years of sales, I've never forgotten that. So thank you, Dad. I love you, and happy birthday.
I think about Pop around Thanksgiving with a huge table full of turkey and other condiments, and everyone sitting down at the table and saying grace together. When I think of Pop dealing with the animals, I think of him teaching the squirrels how to swim. I always remember him waving to us when we were little, as little kids, going like this. And and it's definitely a big memory of mine. I hope you're having a great day, and happy birthday, Pop.
Happy birthday, Pop. I hope you're having a wonderful time, and I'm probably there, so it's probably better. I'll never forget how crazy it was when I saw Pop tube sliding in Massanutten. That was a pretty funny sight to see. He's just generally a role model, and I think most of the family aspires to be like him when they're older.
Happy birthday, Dad. So when Mom was asking us to recollect memories, there's a couple that stuck in my head. One is something to do with your breakfast. When we were little, and we would get up early to go to school, and you were getting ready to go on the bus, your breakfast was Hydrox, not Oreos, but Hydrox and milk. Real breakfast champions. I think that's why we all have this great love of junk food. So that was my first one. The second one's a little bit more serious. I don't know if you remember, but about 20 years ago, when we were living in Greensboro, I had an incident where I was driving to work on a Christmas Eve and came across an accident that happened minutes before I had gotten there, where a van flipped over, multiple people were in the car, stopped, helped them get out. Most of them were unconscious. We had a couple people that actually stopped and helped these people. But I got back up to the highway, and there had to be 100 cars there, and countless hundreds that had passed. No one stopped except for 3 people. Didn't think much of it, went on about my work, came home, talked to Mary when I got home, and it really bothered me. And Mary just had this thought that just stuck in my head that it's because that's the way you were raised. And it really hit me. So I don't remember if you remember the email, but I went back, sat at the computer, which we had just gotten, and sent you an email. And kind of paraphrasing it, it was, thank you for teaching me from right and wrong. Thank you for telling me and teaching us to work hard and persevere. The value of family and friends, to care for those family and friends, but help others in need. And for demonstrating love. You weren't always there as far as saying it, but it was always prevalent. Thank you for teaching us and raising us with the values that are important. I love you.
The Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Bless us, O Lord, and these thy gifts, which we are about to receive from thy bounty through Christ our Lord. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. I believe. Happy birthday, Pop!
Okay, so a long time ago, probably when I was about 16 or so, Patrick and Megan and I were teaching our parents and Nan and Pop how to text, or teaching them how girls and guys text and the differentiation between that. So Aunt Catherine said, so boys say sup G when they're texting another boy, and we were like, yeah. And so then she was like, well, what do girls say? And Nan goes, yo ho, and we were all just like, okay. And so then we're cleaning up dishes after dinner, and Pop just walks over to my dad at the sink. And I'm not sure if anyone except for Megan will remember this, but he walked up to Dad and he was like, so Jerry, do we need to have a sex talk later? And Megan and I just looked at each other and we were like, did you hear that? Like, what? And it was just the funniest thing. We fell on the floor laughing so hard.
Happy birthday, Pop. Actually, I think over the summer when I was like 8, 9, we were at Stonehenge, and we were doing the little driving range, and I was awful, and I still am. And I was watching him swing, and I don't know how it happened, but he was swinging his club, and his driver flew, or the head of his like driver flew farther than the ball did. And he looked around. He didn't know I was looking. He just looked around, just kind of, and then just stuck it in his bag, and then kept going. And I will always remember that because last year I was golfing with my dad and my sister, and I swung my club, and my club head flew off. And I guess it must be instinctive, or it must be something that runs in the family, because I also looked around and then put the club back in the bag and attempted to keep going.
Hi, Dad. Happy birthday from your favorite daughter. This is a great time, I think, to just think back and reflect on some really some fun memories, some funny, some not so funny, and some serious, and just those everyday moments that, you know, you just make life happen. And I, you know, it's just, some of them really make me laugh. Like, for instance, every time I think about the time that we took Jimmy to UVA in Blue Seville, when it was just going to be the three of us going, and we packed up the car, put the shell on top of the roof, packed it up, had everything ready to go. We were going to leave bright and early the next morning. So we get up bright and early and get in the car, just the three of us, and just about ready to pull out of the garage and realize the shell is on top of the car inside of the garage, and we can't get out of the garage with the shell on the car. So after some heated words, I'm sure, we had to unpack the shell, take it off the car, get the car to the garage, re-put the shell on the car, repack the shell, and then we got out of there. But boy, oh boy, so much for leaving early that day. And then, to make matters worse, the fun just continued when we were traveling through lovely Maryland and got caught in a speed trap. That was little tense moments there on that one. We were about one of 50 cars. I'll never forget it. And then finally, when we did make it to Virginia many hours later, Jimmy promptly ditched us, and it was just you and I to share a lovely meal of what was probably the worst hamburger and chocolate chip cookie that anyone has ever eaten. So every time I think about that story, it makes me laugh. It was it was a lot of fun. It was a good memory. I think one of the scariest moments that I recall was when we were all down at the Jersey Shore for one of our annual vacation to the Jersey Shore, and we were all in our teenage years, and I'm sure it was because we needed to go to church. I'm not sure, but Jerry pronounced that he no longer believed in organized religion. And I think it was primarily to you he said that, and I just remember being shocked. Jim and I looked at each other. I think Michael might have been in the room, and we didn't know whether we should grab Jerry and run, or if we should just run and leave him there. So we actually, I think, opted for the leaving and leaving Jerry there. Well, that story really makes me laugh. Just thinking about how things are today versus, back then. It was quite comical. And then, of course, there's the story that when we were a little younger, we were in the backyard and we were having a barbecue, and we had a little pool because we were all young. And Chris, I think it was Chris, I'm pretty sure it was either Chris or Michael, but I think it was Chris. And he was sitting on the ladder, and then all of a sudden fell off the ladder into the pool. And I don't know what made you turn around, probably one of the boys screaming, but you took off like a bat out of hell, dove into that 4-foot high pool. I'm not quite sure how you survived that, but you did, and rescued Chris. And he's still here with us today, by the grace of God. But again, one of those memories that you just never forget. You know, it's funny because when the boys and I kind of reminisce about our childhood, I think we lived in different homes because we never have the same memory of what, you know, things we went through as kids. But those three are pretty emblazed in my memory as like wow moments. Some of the other moments that I remember that are just everyday life moments that really had an impact on me that I remember are things like when you used to work in New York and used to come off the bus at the top of Mayfair Drive, and I just remember probably Michael and I, or maybe Jerry, going up to the top of Mayfair Drive and waiting for you, and then, which what seemed like at the time like miles and miles away, when it was really less than an eighth of a mile. But we trudged all the way up to the top of Mayfair to wait for your bus to come in, and then the second you got off the bus, we would just tell you all about our day and, you know, just walk home back to the house. And I feel like that was something that we used to do almost every day. So that's, you know, kind of a neat memory for me, and I just always remember those. Probably another, you know, amongst the many times I came into New York with you, because I loved going into New York and going to work with you. Well, that wasn't often. I do remember, you know, you handed me that credit card to Saks. Although I didn't go crazy, I did go over to Saks and I was allowed to shop, but that was fun. But I'll never forget when I got out of college and I got my first real job at Helmsley, and I even remember where I was. I was in the laundry room, and you came home, and I was starting Monday, and you came home and handed me my very first monthly bus pass to ride the New Jersey Transit. And I just, you know, what seems like a simple thing to most people had such an impact on me. And I will just never forget that as long as I live, even where I was standing when you gave it to me. So that was, you know, fun for me to kind of, through this process of wishing you happy birthday, to go back and relive some of those funny and serious and, you know, just everyday life moments. And, you know, I really appreciate doing that. You know, I love you for everything that you've given me, these 50 years on this planet, and to our family, and we always came first. So I wish you a very happy birthday. I wish you 50 more, or more than that. But I love you very much, and I hope you have a great birthday. Love you, Dad. Oh, and one more thing. It's okay to let the cat out of the bag now. It's true. Everybody knows it, Dad. I'm the favorite. Not just the favorite daughter, the favorite child. Happy birthday!
What's up, family? Patrick, not the oldest, but definitely the greatest grandson, let's be honest. Coming to you live from Pittsburgh. We're here today to talk about the now 80 years young life of our very own Jerry Coyley Sr., a.k.a. Pop, a.k.a. Pop Daddy Swag, as I know we all like to call him. Hold on a sec. Darren just told me that we don't say it at all. The only ones that... Scratch that. But anyway, my recollection, while very recent, mind you, truly speaks to who he is, and I'm sure he's been that his entire life. This was back this past summer, actually. My family had just come back from the Outer Banks, North Carolina, and it was me, Aaron, my sister, my friend Mike that came on the trip with me, good guy. I'm sure a lot of you have met him. Goes to Boston College. Yeah, me. And it was just like a layover stop between the Outer Banks to go back home. And we were just all laying around having like a lazy Saturday or Sunday night. And Mike and I got into talking about what kind of movies we wanted to watch. Like, it was just let's watch a movie, so we wanted to watch Moneyball. and we saw that Pop had a stack of Blu-ray DVDs, unwrapped, mind you, of course. And we found Moneyball in there, and I'm like, oh man, this is a great movie, because I've seen every movie ever produced in the history of film production. And I'm like, Mike, have you ever seen this movie? And he's like, I haven't seen it yet, but I really want to. And so I'm like, yo, it's in Blu-ray. We've got to watch this. And so Erin's like not paying attention. Like, she's doing something over here. Katie's like fooling around on her phone. Mom and Nan are in the room or other room or something like that. Dad is somewhere off doing so. But what is about to happen will literally reverberate through the entire house, that everyone instantly knows what just happened. I take the disc, I take the box in my hand, and Blu-ray DVDs come with a Blu-ray disc and a copy of a regular DVD, just in case you don't have a Blu-ray player. So I'm like, yes, Moneyball, great movie, Brad Pitt, Blu-ray player? So I turned to Pop, who is, you know, deep into whatever he does on his computer all day, checking emails or stuff. I'm like, Pop, do you have a Blu-ray player? And the most prototypical answer that I could ever get from Pop about who this guy is, like, probably. It's like the funniest thing that has ever come out of that man's mouth, as long as I've been in his presence. And literally, as soon as that happened, the entire room just erupts, because I'm sure every one of you know that Pop just has more things that he doesn't know that he has than he does know that he has. So when he said this statement, just one word, 3 syllables, it just blew everyone out the room. Everyone started laughing. Everyone in the house came running to the room like, what is going on? What is going on? And we're just all dying, laughing, and through the movie, I could not get this out of my head. I just kept cracking up. I almost ruined the movie. But you really have to think about it, as I did after I left the house the next day and went home. Like, the next week or so, I realized that at first glance, if you don't know Pop or our family too well, and don't know that he has mountains of stuff, you'll see that he is not a guy that just has a lot of money and just spends it on aimless stuff. You'll realize that that statement says, I have money, I buy a lot of stuff, yeah. But was he fazed at all when he said the word probably? No. Because he knows why he bought that Blu-ray player. What the true intent of that purchase was. It was just for occasions like that very one that our family and my friend were sitting in on that day. He doesn't buy things for himself anymore. He buys things for the happiness of the people that surround him, and that in turn make him happy. From the top down, he only cares about making his family happy. And when you realize that, you must think, and you get to thinking about, what other great assets and virtues does this man embody? Because on my list, making the people around you happy before you make yourself happy and satisfied is the number one virtue that any man can embody, any self-respecting man can embody. So just right there, he exemplified something that I'm sure he's been exemplifying since he came out of the womb. Because let's face it, this guy right here, this man sitting at this table, is probably one of the greatest guys I've ever met. And I hope he's here another 15, 20 years to make all of our lives better. So I'm sure that about wraps it up. Pass around some tissues, so I know you got to be crying right about now. But yeah, that's my Gramps. That's my grandpa.
Happy birthday, Pop. You know, and thinking back on all the memories and experiences I've had with Pop, I definitely had some funny and interesting memories with him, but instead of focusing on one particular event or memory, I kind of decided to look at the little memories that have been so influential and memorable for me throughout my life. And when looking back on important days of mine and special events, I realized that Pop has been a part of almost all of them. He was there when I was born. He was there for my communion, first communion, my confirmation. He's been there for sporting events, big track meets. He's been there for holidays. He's been there for any time that he can be. And that's what makes him such a great guy. He is the most supportive person I've ever met. And at every single event I can think of, he's been my number one supporter. And he's been there cheering me on, and he's been there supporting me the entire time. And when you think of particular memories, I think of all the memories that Pop has been included in my life that have made them so memorable to me, to have Pop there supporting me. And that's what kind of makes him such a great family man too. He, instead of thinking of himself, he puts everyone else first. He has 13 grandchildren, 5 kids, and he somehow still seems to manage to be there for every single one of them, and to be at all of the important events and all the memories that you've had with him. He's been there for, and he's been there supporting every single one of us with all of our achievements. And I know there will be more in the future, like my graduation or any event that makes a memory. Pop will be there supporting. And I know that when I see him, the first thing I see is running up to him with big open arms, and Pop standing there, open arms, pen in the pocket, with a big bear hug to greet me and say, "How's it going, kid?" And those are the memories that I remember and what I take away from thinking of memories with Pop. Just all of the times he's been there to support me, and he's been there for every one of them. So I hope you have a great birthday, Pop. Bye.
Hey Dad, happy birthday, happy 80th birthday. There's a memory that I have that there were four of us, Dad, Mom, Chris, and myself, and we were on the 8th tee at the golf course, where Dad had just purchased a new driver, and Chris decided that he wanted to give it a try. And he didn't hit it so well, and he just slammed it down the ground and did a drop kick, and it was perfect. Chris caught it square, right into the middle of the lake. I happened to be in the golf cart with Dad, and the look on his face was just priceless. I just told him, drive, just drive. But he was ready to just put his hands around Chris's neck. So that was kind of funny. And another memory was the 70th birthday when you and I went out to Napa in Sonoma. We did a golf and wine trip, and I thought that was a whole lot of fun and really allowed us to enjoy a couple of your passions. So that was certainly memorable for me, and hopefully it was for you. I've also realized that as you have been getting older, you've also been getting smarter. All the things that you've told me through the years, I'm realizing that maybe they were true. I may not have liked when I heard them, but a lot of life lessons, so thank you, and happy birthday.
Hi Pop, happy 80th birthday. I have a lot of little memories of you, like when we'd always go down to the Outer Banks together, and how welcome you were when we'd always come back or come to visit, and how we'd always go to IHOP, and you and I would always get the same food every time. And I also remember how more recently you'd always make us pick up the twigs on the yard, and boy did I not like that. But happy birthday, I hope it's another great year.
Hey Pop, happy 8th birthday. I have a couple memories of when we go down to Virginia. One was mostly the greeting. Whenever anyone came down, you were always so welcoming. You were always like crazy happy to see anyone, even if they were only going to be there for about a day, even the weekend. Another thing was when you were at your computer, you were always in the center of everything. You always knew exactly what was going on. You always wanted to be like the center of everything, so you could be a part of really anything that happened. Happy 8th birthday.
Hey, Dad. Wishing you a happy 80th. I'm glad we can help you celebrate this big day. Been asked to talk about some of our favorite memories and funny moments over the years, so I'll do my best to try to keep it within the time frame. Some of my favorite memories. I remember as a kid delivering the papers early in the morning, and if I was lucky enough, to catch you waiting for the bus at 5:30, we got to hang out and I got to spend some time with you. You taught me at a very early age, I think the age of 10, how to make a Manhattan, which obviously helped me in my bartending career in college. Some of the funnier memories was watching you cut the lawn in your dress shoes and high black socks. I finally realized that was the way you embarrassed us into getting us out there to cut the lawn. I remember listening to you argue with Catherine about her sense of direction, which now I know where she got it from. Thank God she made some mean Toll House cookies. The many rounds of golf over the years, I remember it being a real big deal if I got to go on a Saturday morning to the county course. Just great memories. Some things that I never told you. All of the things that I said I didn't do or blamed everyone else for, I did it. From cutting the hole in the fence in the backyard, to breaking the countless garage door windows, to stealing some of your Michelobs over the years. The keg party that I threw in Marco Island, who would have known that the refrigerator couldn't handle a half a keg and the plastic bottom would crack, or that they were actually going to think about throwing us out. Losing your driver in the lake, and for the record, I did drop kick it. It went far, but I did drop kick it. And until I was probably in my 20s, I really thought you were clueless. As I got older, I realized that I was the one who was clueless. Thanks for always supporting us and being a great father. I'm glad we can celebrate your 80th birthday, and we wish you all many happy and healthy ones in the future. Love you, Dad.
Hey Pop, just want to wish you a happy birthday. Hope you have a very good birthday, and I love you very much. I hope I get to be as old as you someday, and I'm glad we get to spend this special occasion with the whole family. And I just wanted to say a couple of my memories in the past with you have been you on the jumbo screen at Yankee Stadium in front of the whole crowd, and playing football in your front yard. And also there is always Tootsie Rolls and Arnold Palmer at your house, which is very good. And in Massanutten, when we went golfing as a family, that was a lot of fun. And then on the cruise, when you were up on the stage for the game show, that was very funny. That's it.
Oh hey, didn't see you walk in, Pop. Happy 80th birthday. I'm glad the whole family can get together and celebrate this special moment in your life with you. I was asked to think of many special memories over the years about you, and what came to mind was when I would walk around your house barefoot and you'd point at my feet and say, "Where are your feet?" I also remember the time when you took me to Friendly's, and I talked the entire time, but I'm not really sure you were listening most of the time, but that's okay. It was still fun. I also remember going to Massanutten and having the family golf tournament, and going to Yankee Stadium and seeing you up on the big screen. And when we were on the cruise and you did the game with Nan, and you got even though you got most of the questions wrong, it was still pretty funny. So, I hope you have a great birthday, and we love you very much.
Hey Pop, it's me Thomas. I just wanted to wish you a happy birthday, and I'm glad that we can all spend that day at your house, and I think I'll spend a portion of that day in the massage chair. Some of my memories with you are coming to your house late at night and giving you a big hug, and when we had the family golf tournaments, me and you were partners most of the time. Some people say I look like you, but I don't really see it. Have a happy birthday. Love you, Pop. Bye.
I'd like to wish you a happy 80th birthday. I'm so glad that we all get to celebrate up in Virginia with you guys. My most memorable moment was when I threw up in the golf cart and when we were at Massanutten. And when we were on a cruise, you went on a game show. You got most of the questions wrong, but still proud of you. So, I just want to wish you a happy 80th birthday, so we love you.
It had to be you. Yes, nobody else but you. I traveled all around, finally I found somebody who